welcome everyone again to our fifth webinar in the second IBM Digital Nation Africa webinar series. I'm so glad to see you all on the webinar today. We will discuss a very interesting topic today, which is basically how to add authentication to your web applications. Okay, I know many of you were waiting for a cybersecurity webinar, so this is the day. I'll be your presenter for today, basically. So with that, let me start. I'm just going to show you the outline that for my presentation today. I'll be introducing first myself, and then I'll introduce you to the IBM Digital Nation Africa, if anyone did not yet sign up or check it out. And then I'll show you a brief demo for the platform. I'll introduce you to what is cybersecurity and why it's important. And I'll introduce you to two very important workflows in or frameworks in cybersecurity, which is CIA and the AAA framework. I'll introduce you to the IBM Cloud App ID service and the OAuth flow. And I'll show you a demo, a very quick demo that will teach you how to add authentication to your web applications. And we will end up this session with a Q&A session, okay? So guys, if you have any question, don't hesitate to send it on the chat. I might not see it because I'll just be focusing on the presentation, but I'll check all of your questions at the end, and I would suggest that you keep your questions at the end in the Q&A session. Okay. For whoever is asking about the presentation and the recording of this session, we will provide them to you in a couple of days. Like I know many of you now are familiar with the process, so I'll clean the recording and I'll just make sure that everything is set up for you for the presentation and the recording, and we'll send it to all of you on your email. Okay. So with that, let me start. So I'll first introduce myself. My name is Wurud Abbas, and I'll be your presenter for today. I graduated as a computer engineer in 2017, and I have been working in IBM ever since. My job involves developing and managing content and applications for the IBM Digital Nation platform, and the areas that I like to focus on are cybersecurity, DevOps, and IoT. Okay. So now let me move to introducing you to the IBM Digital Nation Africa platform. Please share your experiences with the platform on the chat, and let us know how much you like the new UI, because we've just released a new UI for the platform that made it easier for you to access your courses. So please share your thoughts and ideas there. IBM Digital Nation Africa platform. It's a self-paced learning and innovation platform. This means that you can learn whenever you are free and at your own pace. And once you have learned, you can also start innovating and building solutions with the help of our platform. IBM Digital Nation Africa consists of four main features, like you can see on the screen. They are learn, earn badges, innovate, and find jobs. With the Learn, we mean that the platform offers a wide range of courses and tools to help you learn about the latest emerging technologies, such as cloud, AI, data science, and explore new opportunities in the real world. The second aspect is Earn badges. So for every course that you complete, you will be offered an IBM Digital badge. These badges are verified proof of your achievements, recognized, respected, and valued in the IT industry, and can be included in your CVs and shared on social media. The third aspect is Innovate. One of the differentiating factors of our platform is that apart from giving you badges issued by IBM, is that we do not just stop at theoretical learning. We also have a wide range of project-based hands-on courses which will enable you to start building innovative solutions on the cloud. The fourth aspect is Find Jobs. So the platform offers a job advisor tool, which is powered by IBM Watson. It will help you search for a job which is the most suited according to your skill set, basically. It can also help you perform skill gap analysis and tell you what courses you need to take to further develop your skills. With that being said, let me quickly show you how the platform looks like. I will now switch from the PowerPoint presentation to the web browser where I have the website open, okay? So let me just do that. I hope now you all can see the platform. So this is the IBM Digital Nation Africa website. And as you can see on the homepage, there are the four main features of the website, which I mentioned earlier. There's learn, earn badges, innovate, and find jobs. And if you scroll a little bit down, you can see the three main learning journeys in the platform, which are Explorer, Innovator, and New Caller. So for Explorer, it's where we provide users with like short video-based courses that are easy to learn and understand. It introduces the users to the key emerging technologies such as AI, data science, and cloud, even if you don't have a technical background, okay? And it shows examples of how the technology is being used in today's world. Next is the innovator section here. And here users can create their own digital solution using our project-based use case-driven courses. And lastly is the new caller section, and it's designed to offer users the ability to gain key digital skills which are in high demand in the workplace and are in line with the job roles such as web application developer, cloud developer, AI analyst, and data scientist. This section also features our job advisor tool, that we have spoken about previously. Okay. As you are attending this webinar, actually, you are one of the users that are privileged to see an exclusive material for an upcoming cybersecurity innovator course. So in the innovator section, we actually have two courses that are project-based that you can build your own cybersecurity solution with. And there is another innovator course that is coming on the way that I'm actually developing right now. And I'm using the content of that course in today's webinar. So I would love to hear your feedback and thoughts and maybe ideas on what you want me to include in this course. I will share a survey at the end of the webinar that I would love to hear your feedback on what you want me to include as well. And if there is any topic in cybersecurity you want me to add or maybe create new courses, new topics, just please let me know what you think. Okay. So without no further ado, let's just start with today's topic. Okay, I'll go to my presentation. Okay, so let's first start with defining what is cybersecurity. Okay, so as our world has become increasingly digitized and interconnected, the opportunities for attackers to harm our organizations and our way of life increases. These days, attackers are organized and well-funded. As cybersecurity threats evolve, we must adapt to the way we fight them, okay? Cybersecurity is basically the ability to protect or defend computers, data, infrastructure, and applications integrity, confidentiality, and availability. And we can say we can cumulate them in CIA, which I'm going to talk about later on the presentation. It protects or defends computers, data, infrastructure, and applications integrity, confidentiality, and availability against the different cyber attacks. Cybersecurity involves times when data or information is in transit, being processed, and at threat. It is achieved through procedures, products, and people. Also, it requires knowing who the attackers are, what their motivations are, where the vulnerabilities lie, and how protected the systems are. Okay? Now, let's talk a bit about why cybersecurity is important these days and why it's becoming a hype. Why do security professionals these days get an average salary of like $170K per year? Okay, I'll take you to the next slide, which shows this is an example of one of the cyber security attacks. So It's a devastating global cyber attack that crippled computers in hospitals across the UK and has cost the National Health Services around 92 million pounds. And a report from the Department of Health has this is a report from the Department of Health in UK. Okay, so the cyber attack is called WannaCry hack. It shut down hundreds of thousands of computers around the world with messages from hackers demanding ransom payments. Around 1 PC of all national health services care was disrupted over the course of a week. The hack caused more than 19K appointments to be cancelled, costing the NHS around 72 million pounds in the subsequent cleanup and upgrades to its IT system. So as you can see, the cyber attacks can be very expensive for organizations to endure, right? And you could touch the point where cybersecurity is very important in today's life, because this cyber attack is it's just only one example of the many cyber attacks that are happening around the world. Okay, so first, as we spoke, that the cyber attacks can be very expensive for organizations to endure, and that means the loss of an information or record costs company millions and billions of dollars to recover and clean their systems from that defect. Another important point is that the speed, volume, and sophistication of the attacks increase at a faster pace. So attackers and their methods of attacking have changed over time. In the early 1990s, the curious high school teenagers and the clever college students and over time attackers evolved to include evolved to do these types of online attacks and crime. Then nowadays there are organized crime businesses and individuals who were motivated by money got involved to acquire information assets. As more sophisticated actors got involved, they brought with them more resources and capabilities. Okay? So the next point is the majority of devices connected to the internet. The fact that we live in a digitized era doesn't only make it easier for us to connect more and more personal devices to the internet and to the huge data centers or to the cloud, but it also makes it easier for the hackers to exploit all of this traffic and store data with many different ways. The next point is the availability of the hacking tools and online resources makes it much easier for even the less experienced hackers to launch attacks and damage your environment. And the last point that I'm going to mention today is the poor patch management. And what we mean by the patch management is the process of upgrading the operating system software to remove any weakness in the system and protect it from different cyber threats. Okay, a poor patch management can leave vulnerabilities in the IT infrastructure, leading to cyber attacks. Okay, so now, as we spoke earlier about the CIA, which are the main cybersecurity goal for, like we said, cybersecurity is always trying to achieve. It's always the main goal. It stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So basically, I have explained this. Much more in my second cybersecurity course in the innovator section. But I'm gonna just explain about it now and give you some examples so you can relate. Okay. So for confidentiality, it's the preserving authorized restrictions on information access and disclosure, including means of for protecting personal privacy and proprietary information. For integrity, it means guarding against improper information modification or destruction, and includes ensuring information authenticity. For the availability, it's the property of being accessible and usable upon demand by an authorized entity. So this is what we always try to achieve in cybersecurity. Now I'm going to give you a very simple example that I usually use to explain what is CIA. Like, it's a very simple example, but hopefully this will make it even clearer. So assume that this guy on the left is John. He is handling the marketing content of his company called The Company, and promotes its products and services constantly on Facebook, okay? So John keeps just forgetting the credentials of his company's Facebook account, so he keeps them written in a note on his mobile phone. One of his curious friends knows that John's default password is his birthday, so he uses it to unlock his mobile phone. He goes to John's notes, looks at their content, and knows the company's credentials. So in this case, the confidentiality of John's company has been compromised. Okay. Now, John's friend meets an employee, let's call him X, of a competitor company. He gives X the credentials he had stolen from John's phone. I doubt he is a friend. And X navigates to Facebook.com, this evil guy here, inserts the stolen credentials and starts posting negative and racist posts from the company's account and affects its reputation. So in this case, the integrity of the company's information has been compromised. Okay? And in the last scenario, this evil guy, the employee X, then decides to delete all John's posts and then deactivates the account to make it disappear forever. And in this way, the availability of the company's information has been compromised. So I hope this example has made the CIA triad even clearer for you. And another important term in cybersecurity is the AAA. So guys, why I'm giving you this term? So this is like very basic terms that you need to keep in mind while talking just when you speak about cybersecurity. There is the CIA triad, which are the cybersecurity goals, and then you have the AAA, which is one of the methods to achieve cybersecurity goals. Okay. So basically, it's another security framework that is very important to understand, and it stands for authentication, authorization, and accounting. If you're logging in to a network from your mobile, PC, or any other device, then you are probably using a AAA framework. The first step in using this AAA framework is first identifying yourself. We usually use a username to do this, but there are many ways you can use it to identify who you are. At this point, we need another way to authenticate to prove that we are who we say we are. And this is usually a password or a different authentication factors like fingerprints, like credit cards, and so on and so forth. Okay? Once the authentication process is approved, you can then access the different resources that would be appropriate for your particular username. For example, if you're logging in as a manager, then you will have a different authorization than someone who is logging in as a guest. Okay? And once that is done, we go to accounting. So the last A stands for accounting, which measures the resources users consume during access to a network or application. So we ask this question: what resources were accessed, at what time, by whom, and what commands were issued? Okay. Now, since we have covered most of discussed some of the main topics and frameworks in cybersecurity, let's move to our topic for today, where we will tackle only one concern in cybersecurity, which is authentication and adding authentication and authorization to your app. As a main concern as well, you want to ensure that you build a tailored experience for your customers and make them feel special by remembering their names, orders, or anything they may be interested in, basically. Okay? So, of course, no matter how successful your idea is, the success of your app depends on the trust you build with the users, which comes to securing your users' data and protecting the systems your app is accessing. Today, since we are using the IBM Cloud App ID service, I'll just give you like a brief introduction about App ID. So this is App ID in a nutshell. App ID basically helps developers to easily add authentication to their web and mobile apps with a few lines of code. By requiring users to sign into your app, you can store user data such as app preferences or information from public social profiles, and then leverage that data to customize each user's experience within the app. App ID provides a login framework for you, but you can also bring your own branded screens to use with Cloud Directory. So App ID is a service that connects different identity providers or identity sources. These are like Google, Facebook, to your applications. It connects them in a secure industry standard way. And the idea is to make sure that your users can safely authenticate and your application would know who the user is and what actions this user is permitted to take. Okay. We'll go quickly through this graph I'm showing here. So this is a flow. I don't want you to be confused from looking at it or overwhelmed. I'm gonna break it down and tell you what basically each line means, but I'll just go through it quickly so we can get to our demo. So this technology is very important to understand how the App ID works in the background. So once I describe or explain this flow, you would know basically what's happening behind the scenes on the hands-on demo. So what is OAuth 2.0? It's an open protocol to allow secure authorization in a simple and standard method from web, mobile, and desktop applications. One of the work frames that the technology has is the authorization code that you can see in the diagram here. The workflow always has some kind of a user agent right here. For simplicity, we're calling it a browser. We're just assuming it's a browser, okay? And so then you have some kind of application server here that you are trying to access, okay? And we're calling it a client, for example. And you have the authorization server, and in our case, it's the App ID. So there are three different elements here. So let's start with the process and keep track of the numbers, okay? So first, the process can start with something as simple as a user goes into a web application and trying to get index.html. It can be any other trigger, but for simplicity, like let's say the user is trying to open a web application. It's just a very simple use case, okay? So the web server will detect that the user has not authenticated. So from 1 to here, to the red point, the user is not authenticated yet and not authorized to send this request or access this resource. Okay? Then your application redirects the user to App ID, which is the authorization server here, number 2. Okay? And the authorization server will return some kind of a login form or consent form, and this depends on the authorization server itself. Okay? And the App ID will show a sign-in screen here. So it sends a login or consent form, and on the browser it will show a login screen or sign-in screen that the user can use to authenticate and put their credentials. They input credentials such as username and password, and App ID validates these credentials. Okay, so from 4 to validate it here in the App ID, sorry, to the App ID server. Okay, what App ID does is that it sends, redirects the user back to your application with a grant code. Okay, so this code means that, okay, this user is authenticated from my side, and this is what basically a grant code means. So, and then what happens next is that by using the grant code, your application here in SEC makes requests to App ID to ensure that the user is validated. Okay, and once it's validated, it returns the tokens, and for the validated user, and the user is then granted access to your application. So the request he sent in the beginning, it would be sent to him. This happen in like less than like in maybe in a couple of seconds that we don't see, but then it's happening in the background, and it's very necessary to understand what's happening before we go into the hands-on demo. Okay. And that brings me to my demo. So these are the steps that we are going to do today in our demo. We will first download the application code to our environment. We will define the code components. I'm going to break down the code components. It will install the packages needed by the code. Okay. And we will create App ID service on IBM Cloud, and we will implement a logout feature in your application. So it's very simple, and if you have any questions, please send them. My colleague Hashim is supporting on the chat. Okay, with that, let me go to the application folder. Okay, someone is asking me to go back to the previous slides. Okay, sure. So, I will share with you the presentations after the presentation after the webinar. My colleague just shared the demo code from Box folder. Okay, so let me go to the demo. I have already installed the code on my environment. Let me just show it to you. Okay, someone is asking me what is OAuth 2.0 is. So it's basically an open protocol to allow secure authorization in a simple and standard method, either from your mobile, web applications, or desktop applications. Don't worry, I will share the slides with you after the webinar. Okay, with that, let me move. When you click on the link that my colleague just sent on the chat, you will go to a Box folder that has a folder called Cybersecurity Webinar, and from there you can start. You will have your own code, and you can open it with a code editor that you have or you prefer. For me, I'm using Visual Studio Code. So I'll open it and I'll drag the folder here. Okay. Okay. So the folder that you will be able to download called Cybersecurity Webinar. I just dragged it, and now it's opened in the Visual Code Studio. Okay. You can use any code editor that you are comfortable with. Okay. In this folder, you can see we will be interacting with two main files. The main big file is app.js. So this is a Node.js application, and this is our main application file. Okay, don't worry and don't feel overwhelmed. I will break down everything for you here on the screen. And this is the first file that we will be using. And there is another one which is from public. You open index.html. And this is basically what do you want. This is an HTML code for what you want to appear on your application page. Okay. So let me go back to the app.js, which is the main file. So first of all, it's just requiring some of the so it's just requiring these work frames. So like first, it's requiring Express, and it's a minimal and flexible Node.js web app framework that provides a robust set of features for web and mobile apps. Okay, and it requires an Express session. So once since we are contacting or communicating with the server, then we need an Express session, and it's dealing with sessions. And then we are requiring Passport. So Passport is another flexible Node.js framework that is used to add different types of authentication to your application. And then we have the web app strategy. Okay, so web app strategy is a strategy that is used to protect web apps, and it's required from the IBM Cloud App ID module. Okay, as you can see here. This does the application to start using the Express or to start the app, and then there are a lot of comments, so we will uncomment some of these commands later on, but then I just want to take it step by step. Now I will just show you the application, how it looks like, the initial application, and then we will start protecting the application basically. So from here, from this line, I'm asking the server to use the static resources, which are is there any questions? So please, the presentation is breaking out. Please do recap. So yes, so I'm sorry about that. Please, can you all keep yourselves on mute so everyone can hear us? Okay, thank you. So basically what I'm doing right now is that I have the Node.js application, and in the Node.js folder that my colleague shared the link for has the main file that you code into, and it's just like does it just does everything for you from here. This is the main file. Okay. Some of you are telling me that they can't access the link I shared. So I'll work on that. Just please let me finish the demo, and I will work on that and send it to all of you. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I checked it before the webinar. It was working fine, but let me double check after the demo. Okay. So to recap, I was just explaining the frameworks that are needed by my application, and I will just now create a very simple application, and then I will protect it. Okay. So here I'm telling the app to use the public, the static resources, which are coming from public, the public folder here, which are the index.html. That sets the way that my application, like the first application page, looks like. And then I start listening to the server. So basically on port 3000, I start the local host. Okay. So from this page, you go on debug, you start debugging. And now it's giving me below that that it's listening to it. Okay, someone is asking me to zoom in. Okay, just one. Is it better now? That's one more. I hope this is fine now. Okay, so these are the required frameworks, and then at the end of the code, I'm starting my application on this local host on this specific host. So now I clicked on debug, started debugging, and it's telling me that it's listening on the local host on port 3000. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy that, and then go to I'll go to my browser and open the local host here. And it's basically showing you this is my application private page, which this is a text is coming from index.html in this code. So it's so if you can see index.html, this is my application private page. Okay. So we just now have a very simple application. Okay. Now we will start predicting the application. Basically, we'll go back to the app.js, and I will break down the part of code for you. Okay. So first, the first thing we do is I'll just uncomment and explain at the same time. So basically, on this part, I'm telling the app to use the session, the Express session, and I'm initializing it with some values that you can change. And you can always go back to the documentation of the of the Express framework to know more how to set your values, to set these values, but they can be initialized with any values at this moment, not a big deal. And then I will comment this part. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, so first we are initializing the passport framework we spoke about before. And what we do is some serializing and deserializing for a user. So basically, Passport will maintain a persistent login sessions. In order for persistent sessions to work, the authorized user must be serialized to the session and then deserialized when the subsequent requests are made. Okay, and then we will ask the Passport to create a new web app strategy. And you see these values, these 4 values. I'm keeping them empty, so you can insert your own credentials. So this also should be empty, actually. So let's just delete that. Okay. So these 4 credentials you will get from your own ID service credentials, your own credentials. Each of us have different credentials. So once I'm asking the Passport to use a new app strategy and start protecting my app, I need to go to the IBM Cloud dashboard and create a new app ID service. Okay. So let me move from the Visual Code Studio window to my browser where I have the IBM Cloud dashboard open. So let's just go to IBM Cloud dashboard. This is the IBM Cloud, and as you know, guys, you will get a free light account on IBM Cloud once you sign up to IBM Digital Nation Africa platform. So you can use the same credentials you're using with IBM Digital Nation Africa and log into the IBM Cloud Light account. Okay. So I'm logged in. This is the dashboard where my services, my applications are kept. And from here, I want to click on catalog. Okay, so this catalog, let me zoom in so it's clearer for you. So I click on catalog, okay? And the app ID service is listed within the security and identity services on IBM Cloud, as you can see here. I know like some of the attendees might be facing some delay, so I'll just like pause each and every while to make sure that you are following up with my screen. So this is the App ID service. We click on it. So these are the main features that we spoke about before, the authentication, the profiles, and the features that basically the App ID has. So we just give it a unique name. Let's say App ID, Cybersecurity webinar. Okay, and we click on create. On the same page, you can check also the pricing plans, but this is a light. It has this service has also a light plan that you can use for free. Okay. In case you needed more requests than in case you needed more than the light service as makes them available for you, you can upgrade your service. But now it's free to use. Okay, so this is the main dashboard for my App ID Cybersecurity webinar service. And from here, I will go to applications on the left because I'm using an application with it. And then I click on add application. So this is how I grant credentials, how I get credentials to use with my application I'm using. Okay, so I just call it App ID load out. You can call it whatever you want, and it will show that success. Your application was saved and the credentials were made. You click on View Credentials, and these are the credentials that will be available to you. Okay. So we will need the client ID, the tenant ID, the secret, and the authorization server URL. Okay, sorry. So what I'm gonna do in the next minute, I'm just gonna copy paste these credentials to my application code. So let me bring that up. In this way, I'm connecting my service to the Node.js application I'm having. Okay, first the client ID, we paste it here. These credentials are different from each one of us. Then the tenant ID, and then the secret. We'll paste it here. And then the OAuth server URL. So let's make sure that everything is copied correctly and there is no spaces in the code. I'll just zoom out a bit. Okay. And there is the redirect URL. So what is the redirect URI? So it's basically, as mentioned earlier, after the successful authentication, the app ID will redirect you to your application using the redirect URI here defined here, okay? It ensures that only authorized users are allowed to participate in the authorization workflow. So we are setting this up, okay? We will save the changes now. And we will click on restart debugging. The green arrow above. So it's we click on the restart, and it's listening to the local host. So we go back to our browser, we refresh the local host, and we check the changes. Like, let's see what changed. In this way, nothing has changed. That's because the app ID service did not detect the redirect URI. And what you need to do is copy this redirect URI and add it to the service dashboard. So you're telling the service, the app ID service that, okay, this is authenticated, it's okay, just send it back to the application. So we will go to the app ID service dashboard. On the manage authentication. And as you can see here that the cloud directory, Facebook, Google are enabled for my application that I'm gonna build right now. And I'm gonna add the redirect URL, okay? So I'm just gonna add it this way and click on the plus sign. So now it's added. There is only one line of code that we need to also uncomment, which is the handling the callback. So basically, we're telling the application to handle this callback we have initiated here. So let's save that, okay, and restart the debugging. And now it's listening to the local host. Let's see how does that change my application. Okay, let me go back and check what's going on. Okay. Oh, so yeah, I'm missing this line. So this is the very main line of code that will protect the whole application, which I actually forgot to uncomment. So it basically uses the passport and the new web app strategy to protect the whole application, okay? So let's save and redebug again and see what's gonna happen now, how my application will change. So we refresh. And instead of going directly to my application, this is what you will see, or this is what any user can see. They will see a login form that they can fill or use it to access my application. Okay, so basically, so you're allowing your user to authenticate using the the service providers, the identity providers, and then another user just might feel like signing up, so you just allow them to sign up. Okay, and we like just give it a try and show you how would that look like. I'm just inserting my credentials for the signing up process, and I click on sign up. Okay. Now it told me that a confirmation of your email is on its way to this Gmail account, and I'll open the Gmail account for you guys to see the email confirmation that I got from my app. So okay, so just let me log into the email that I just inserted. Can you guys see my screen? Some people are asking me for a recap, so I'll make sure that I do a recap at the end of the demo. So this is the email I just got. I click on it and it says, "Hi Ruth, thank you for signing up." So I'll just wait because I understand there is a lot of delay on the connection. This is basically what you can see. Can you all guys see it? It says, "Hi Ruth, thank you for signing up. Please verify your email address by clicking verify." Okay, and you click on verify. Once it's verified, then thanks for verifying your email, and now you can access the app, which is basically the very simple application that I built using HTML, only HTML code. Okay. Then when I want to go back, let me go back. Let me show you how the user looks like on the IBM Cloud App ID dashboard. So you click on Cloud Directory as it's a Cloud Directory user. It's not coming from any identity providers. And then you click on Users, and you can see that this account has been verified and it's registered within my application. And if I want to log in, let me try to log in for you guys. Okay. And now I'll sign in. Let's see what I can see from. Okay. Yeah, this is not the email that I. Sorry, my fault. So, okay. Sign in, and that should take me to the simple app that I built using HTML. Okay. Now it has taken me to the application private page. It's protected, and users cannot go to my application without being authenticated. Okay. There is one cool thing that I wanted also to show you regarding the Cloud App ID, IBM Cloud App ID. You go to the dashboard and you can actually log in, customize the login page. Okay. So from you go back to the dashboard, you click on login customization, and then you can choose how you want the login page to look like. So for example, I want to build an application for people to, like, why not, to order waffles. Okay, so I just want to change the tab name. So I'll just type login to order, and I'll select a file from my desktop. I'm keeping a tasty waffle picture, and I just want to change the color scheme. So at the top of the login page, so I choose it to be pink. And now once you click on Save Changes, the changes will be saved, and this is what you will be able to see on the login, or what users will be able to see on your login page. So you click on Save Changes, and you can see that, okay, so success, changes saved successfully. Okay, and then we go back and refresh. Now we are logged in. So now you can see the main UI for my application, or for the login page that I have just customized. Okay. What else can you do with the application or with the app ID? There are so many things you can do with it, but you can also add a logout feature. So basically, it will handle the logout. Instead of keeping you logged in. So for example, now when I wanted to show you the main login page, I had to click on back multiple times to get back to the main page. Now I want just to add a logout feature. So basically, I'll comment this part and comment it. And as you can see here, that it says once the logout function is triggered, get me back to, or redirect me to the root of the application, which is basically the login page that I have just customized. Okay, and you go to the index.html just to make, just to show users where to click to do the logout process. Okay, we will uncomment. So guys, you will have all of these commands, most of them commented. You will have to uncomment them. Okay, now we save the changes and we redebug the application, and it's listening to the local host, as you can see here below. And let's try to log in with Facebook. Okay, like for example, someone wanted to use Facebook to log in. Let me try one more time. Let me log in with this email. It's just taking some time. And now it's taking me to my application page, main page, with a logout feature. So guys, this is a skeleton application that you can use at your own pace. You can do whatever you want, the different customizations that you want. This is a very, very basic application, simple application that you can just add. I just told you how to add authentication and authorization to it. Once you click on logout, it will take you to log in to order waffle page. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. And this is just concludes my presentation or demo for today. Let me go back to my presentation and just recap what have we been, what have we been doing. And yeah, this is how the application looks like, the login page looks like at the end. And I just want to tell you about the other cybersecurity course that we have on the platform. Basically, if you want, like, just to continue learning about cybersecurity, you can take a look at our cybersecurity learning path on the IBM Digital Nation Africa website. We have a comprehensive track which will help you learn about cybersecurity in depth, starting with an introductory course in Explorer, as you can see here, and to project-based courses in the Innovator section. Okay, and an in-depth learning track in Newcomer. The content of today's webinar will be a third course that will fit here in the Innovator courses soon, but you were privileged to check out the content of it. I would love to hear your feedback, and if you want me to include anything more on my course, okay? So that's basically my presentation for today. And now I will accept your questions. Okay, so let me check the question. Now, many of you have faced some issues regarding the link that I have shared. So Let me just double check the link now, as you guys are with me on the call. So this is the folder on Box. I don't know, like Box sometimes okay. So let's see if this works with you guys. Okay, I'll just try to open a private window and check if it opens for me now before I send it to all of you. I'll answer all of your questions now. Don't worry. I'll answer all of the questions. Okay, now it's open for me. So I'll send the link on the chat, and just please use it and let me know if you're facing any issues regarding it. So I'll get back to the WebEx screen and share it with you. Okay, let me check the questions now. And meanwhile, I'll just open the presentation on the differences that you can, or actually the resources that you can go to after this webinar. You can navigate to this link to know more about what the courses in cybersecurity, more cybersecurity, and you can access the demo code from this link. Okay. And there's a YouTube playlist that has all you need to know about App ID and how to add them even to your mobile application and the different applications that you have. And like all of these resources, you can check once I send you the presentation. And this is my email, and you're welcome to send me any question you have. But let me answer the questions on the chat now. Okay, so let's start. Let me first ask my colleague to send the survey link. So in case you have any feedback to make our webinars, enhance our webinars, our upcoming webinars. And as I told you, this is a suggested content for a next innovator cybersecurity course. So if you have anything on mind, just please share it with me. I would love to hear your feedback. Okay, my colleague just shared the link. Just go and tell me what you think about the presentation. Okay, let's do the questions. Let's go and see the questions. Okay, so okay, if I don't use button log out, what happens? Abdulrahman is asking. Well, nothing happens, but then it's better to give the user the choice to log out from your application. It's just that, like imagine Facebook without a log out button. That's fine, but then you would want to give them the choice to log out. So Edward is asking, at what time can one use this authentication? So the authentication, as I told you, authentication, authorization, and accounting are it's one of the things that cybersecurity is trying to achieve, and it's always like a main goal or it's a method to achieve the main goal, which is the CIA. So the AAA is the method. So you always have to make sure that authentication, authorization, and accounting is built into all of your applications. Okay, it's just like to build trust with between you and your users. You want to make them feel that they're authenticated and authorized and their information are protected. Yes, David is asking if there is a session timeout to log out the user, and the user, if the user, yes. So the session does time out, even if there is no log out button. Okay, let me go back and check all of the. Muhammad is asking what is the best OAuth method. It's the one that I have explained about it, which is the authorization code. So there are 5 methods for OAuth 2.0, but the one that I have mentioned is only the authorization code, which is one of the best methods that's used by that framework. And also, it's not only the only framework that is used by AppID. It uses multiple methods from OAuth. Okay. Okay. Let me go back and check. Do you provide credits to use IBM resources? This is by Peter. So Peter, once you sign up to IBM Digital Nation Africa, you will be given an IBM Cloud Lite free account to build these resources and services and do the same demo that I've done today. Actually, the account that I've used is a Lite account. It's a test account. So like you can have one like it and use the credentials that you used to log into IBM Digital Nation Africa. Just log in with on IBM Cloud on this particular link that I'm gonna send. Use the same credentials there, and then you can create your own applications and services there. Okay. Please check the box link that we have sent on the chat and let me know if it works for you now. Kindly do a favor on recap the Node.js app. We are having a break up at that point. Benjamin has sent us. So I hope if like I can recap now, but also you will get the recording, which will give you the chance to walk step by step on what I did. I understand there might be not a very great connection at each party, so I'll make sure I'll just recap what I've done. So let's go back to my slide, this slide. So basically, yeah, let me just fix that. Okay, so basically, first you have to download the application code from the box link that we shared on the chat, and then you have to define. I defined the code components. So what are the frameworks that I've used within my application, with the Node.js application, and what does each of them mean? And I started uncommenting some of the code parts to make you understand the process of protecting it. I installed some packages needed by the code, okay? And then I created an AppID service on IBM Cloud, and I implemented a logout feature in my application. Dave, okay, David is asking me about the certificate. So guys, I want you to understand that we don't just give certificates to everyone who logged into the event. We basically are following a very strict criteria which accumulates the attentiveness on the webinar, how much you were actually paying attention due to the duration that you have been on the webinar. We don't just spread them around. So we're giving them to specific users, but that does not mean that you're not that you just are not getting it. It just takes a lot of time and effort to create this criteria and send certifications. So please, like after each webinar, you should expect the certificates between 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. We will be like accumulating this criteria to each and every user and then send the certificates. So thank you for your patience, David, and we will make sure that you're receiving the certificate soon. So Francis asking, can the code be manipulated and used publicly? What do you mean by that? Like a user can publicly edit it? No, it's at your local secured development environment, and it's not actually published anywhere. We're talking to the server. That's it. Okay. What question? So Benjamin, I just recapped what we did on Node.js application. If you still have any question regarding the demo, please let me know. So someone is asking me, what are the different ways we can secure a web app? There are many different ways, and it starts usually the weakest part of the circle is the user himself. So a user must understand that they should not just be open and friendly to any identity provider by providing like all kind of credentials to it, and then you have to understand security controls in your language and your development language that you're developing your code into. And don't write your security credentials. Don't share them with anyone. That will keep you away from cyber attacks, from all kinds of the vulnerabilities around us. And there are a lot of ways. This is a very generic question that can be answered in many ways. We're in the phase of security intelligence. There are many tools in IBM and the first course in Innovator. This identify and investigate cybersecurity threats is one course that discusses what is security intelligence. You can read about that and check how it's helpful to add security flavors to your different applications. Basically. So this is a very broad question. And thank you all for joining. Okay, bye. Have a nice day and a nice weekend. Bye.